Hey Garden Guardians, welcome to Angel Loves Garden. Peace and blessings to all. Let's get growing. Hey Garden Guardians, it's Angel aka Lily with Angel Loves Garden, and today we have a very special video. In my first introduction video, I discussed how family and legacy is very important to me. So I've decided on Sundays, we're going to have special family legacy videos to promote family and what they're doing, what their interests are. And because my family is very important to me, so today, y'all, it's finally here. The pond video, the above ground pond video with Big Nephew. Yay! Let's do this, y'all. Here he is, the man of the hour, Big Nephew, the pond guy. Yay! This is my Big Nephew, and he's going to talk about himself and tell you about what he likes to do.
Big Nephew, aka Falariums. So basically, what we do, or what I do, is that we'll set up aquarium maintenance or pond maintenance for clients, and then we also offer an aquarium maintenance or pond maintenance service to our clients. And it could be bi-monthly, or it can be monthly. We can set it up whichever way works best for the both of us. And I come out there and set you up a nice little setup. We only do freshwater right now. We don't really dive into the saltwater. So if you're a freshwater person and you want to get a freshwater aquarium, or you want to get something like this pond setup here set up, we're the people to talk to.
Where do you service? What areas?
Right now it's only the Richmond, Virginia area. But as we grow, we plan to expand to the 804 area, all the surrounding areas. And then maybe from there we'll split off and do a different couple places in Virginia.
Cool.
Yes.
Alrighty, how can they reach you, Big Nephew?
So right now, since we're kind of still just getting it kick-started, you can reach us at Falariums, FullerIums on Instagram. And then from there, you should be able to find ways to contact us.
Great, and we're going to link all of that information in the description, and we're going to have it on the screen as well. All right, so let's see what Big Nephew did for us.
All right.
All right, y'all, so here is the pond setup. And Big Nephew is going to talk about how we set up the pond.
Basically, this is a 40-gallon tank. Well, this is a pond, and basically, you can get these, I believe you could find them online, or Tractor Supply Store should be able to have these. It says 40 gallon right here. You're probably not going to be able to see that, but this is 40 gallons. Right now, it's currently filled up, what would you say, probably 3/4 of the way.
Yeah.
So maybe it's about 30 gallons of water in here. And then we have some, I don't exactly remember what kind of stone this is. It might be like cobblestone, something like that. But I got this from Lowe's. Now, this is like a 50-pound bag for $3. And this is just to get some surface area for beneficial bacteria growing in here. As you see, we got it stacked up here because eventually we're gonna, when you see in the next video, we'll have some immersed plants growing out from this cobblestone, quote unquote cobblestone, until I figure out the actual name of it. And then over here, in these pots with the blue gravel, this is Anacharis. So Anacharis is actually native to Virginia. Just the plants in here. You can find this in the James River. If you've ever been to the James River, you see all the plants kind of in a big bushel group. That's Anacharis. So yes, this is a native plant. And you don't see them right now because we're filming at 10 o'clock in the morning and it's a little bit cooler in the day. As the day goes on and it gets warmer, you'll start to see them come out. The metabolism will speed up. But there is some Variatus platies in here. Those are the fish. And what's special about the Variatus platies is that they actually can go really, really cool. They could probably go down to 50 degrees, but we're not going to push that. It's in April right now, so it shouldn't get to 50s. But they can go very cool, just like a goldfish, just like a koi. They just can't freeze over. But there's, I believe there's 6 or 8 of them in here. And maybe later on, she'll be able to get some footage of those for you.
Yeah, they were swimming yesterday. There were like 4 of them. I think a lot of times they seem to be hiding under the little rock area here.
Mm-hmm.
Right there with that big rock. And
gets a lot of shade there.
Yeah, but they were swimming. They tend to come out when it's a little warmer. They'll swim. One was at the bottom swimming this morning. Yep.
And then basically how we really set this up, we did it actually yesterday. Very quick, very simple, as long as you do everything that you need to do. So we just took the hose, we filled it up with water, we dechlorinated it, we dumped half the water, filled it up again, dechlorinated again. The dechlorinator that I use is Prime by Seachem, not sponsored. And then another product that I like to use, it helps kind of speed up that cycling process, is Start Smart Complete. There's a bacteria in the bottle. Now most of these bottle bacteria only is the bacteria for the ammonia. So it basically will make sure that we don't have an ammonia spike going on in here. Now there will still be a little bit of nitrite, and eventually we'll get the nitrates. But we'll handle that when that comes. The plants are going to use a lot of that nitrite and nitrate as well. And then from there, we've got some Tetra fish food that she's going to be feeding in here maybe 2 or 3 times a week for the first couple of weeks. And I don't know if she can actually get a good shot of this, but this is the reason why you don't really have to feed ponds.
Let's take a look, y'all. See if I can get the shot.
Yeah, let's see if we can get this shot here. See all the little wiggling little creatures in here. Probably gotta wait for one to wiggle for you to be able to see it. But you'll see that it'll be a bunch of little wigglers in here, and that's actually mosquito larva fry. Like right here, there's one right there.
Oh yeah, we got them.
And fish love it. Fish love mosquito larva fry. Every summer, I used to just sit out a couple totes of water and just let the mosquito larvae grow up in there. And then once they just got big enough to scoop them out, I scooped them out and fed them to my fish. So that's basically why you won't have to feed this pond as often, as the fish will actually go back to the natural behavior of hunting all the little micro worms and all the insects that inhabit around the water or in the water.
Cool. So y'all, these fish will take care of the mosquito problem if you having one, okay? Yep. Yay.
There's definitely more that has to go into this pond. Okay. We're nowhere near done. So another thing to consider when you're setting up a pond like this is the location.
Okay.
So remember how we talked about the advantages and disadvantages of this pond being, I don't know if everybody can tell, but it's actually in kind of sort of in the front middle of the yard. It's actually not near the house. So what this gave us a challenge of not being able to run an air stone or a sponge filter to this aquarium just to keep the oxygen in there. Now there actually are a couple ways that we can still get that done if it seems like that needs to be done. But we're going to try a different approach. That's the natural approach by planting it heavily. Planting it heavily enough that it's shaded in some parts so that the temperature isn't swinging the pond drastically. That's also the reason why we have a 40-gallon pond right here, because you really can't do it too much smaller than that, otherwise the water temperature is constantly going to be changing and shifting. Okay. And that's not going to be good for any livestock, plants, or fish that are in here. So you definitely want to start off with a big body of water if you want to do this properly.
Okay, and I had one of my friends, and shout out to the Sweet Spot. Hey, Sweet Pea. You know what I'm talking about. We talked about that, Sweet Pea. You know why that's an inside joke. But hey, Sweet Pea. And y'all check out Sweet Pea channel. She's doing a lot of great things with apartment gardening for small spaces. She has a lot growing on. And one of the things she asked me about was she wanted a pond maybe in her front area of her apartment. But she's worried about all them cats that's out there trying to do all kinds of things. It's crazy. What can she do to protect her pond from cats?
So there's actually a couple things you can really do. You see here, there's chicken wire. Yep. We got some chicken wire around here. Now this will prevent most of your land animals from being able to come up and take a swim in your pond. But what it won't really stop is predators like birds. Okay. So something to help kind of get rid of those animals from your pond getting into your pond and eating your fish or eating your plants is to get some egg crate. It's actually a light diffuser. You can find it at Home Depot. Or you can get window screening.
Okay,
And that's
cool.
very fine, and that will still allow for the light to get through.
Okay.
That would still allow for oxygen exchange because they're still porous.
Okay.
And then you can zip tie it to your actual pond.
Cool.
Now these same holes here,
Those are the drainage holes.
these are the drainage holes.
Okay.
Now also what you could do, you could take your zip tie and you run it through your drainage holes, and that will lock your pond in place.
Okay.
Now, if you build a flap on it, it's a little bit, imagination here. You build a flap on it. There's also 2 drainage holes on this side. So when you put it on here, if you zip tie these 2 ends here, you could just lift it open and close it. Lift it open. So if you had it for filming purposes or anything like that, the only thing is that it would make it difficult to see in the inside.
Okay. But
So,
it'll protect the
It will
pond.
protect
and
the fish and all the livestock, like your plants, from any unwanted invaders.
Okay.
So maybe on the next one we'll get some screening for here.
Okay.
We'll get some zip ties. We'll zip tie it to this in here so that we can have it so it flaps open. You can lay it over and have the pond exposed when you're around, and then when you're gone, flip it back open. We'll just have to figure out how to get it to seal onto this end, because we really don't want to zip tie it on this end. Otherwise you're not going to be able to open and fold it. But we'll find a nice DIY way to do it.
I'm
And
sure
then,
we will.
Yeah, and once
We're going to
we figure that out,
MacGyver it, y'all. You know how I do. We
Exactly.
MacGyver everything.
and then
Okay.
once we figure it out, we'll shoot a video on exactly the way we did it.
Okay. And as he was talking about the drainage holes, because I asked this question before, so that the pond will not overflow
Yeah.
when it rains and things like that. Those drainage holes are in the sides, so the water will come out and it should not overflow. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
Great. All right. Okay. Do we have any other questions? I'm trying to think.
Well, the other thing we have to kind of consider about too, we talked about it yesterday,
Okay.
is that it doesn't always rain all the time here.
Okay.
So
Oh,
there
yeah.
might be a couple occasions where you gotta come and just add some water back to this, because you can see on this end here, it's actually
Let's see
pretty
if we
low.
can get there, y'all.
It's pretty low over here, but that's because it's we're on an uneven surface.
Yeah, I got it.
So it's higher up here and it's lower down here. So what we're really looking at is this for this slope here to at least be where it is now. Any lower than that, it's gonna get a little bit low in here, and we're gonna have to add some water to it. So that just depends on the rain schedule. As long as it rains, every few weeks or so, there should be enough rain to fill this and keep this filled. But in
Right.
case it doesn't rain, especially when it gets in the summertime,
So
water
no
might have
lower
to be
than
added.
right below the drainage hole.
Yes, right below the drainage hole.
So, y'all can see, look, y'all.
About
Lily is messing up.
inch and a
this
half
video.
to 2 inches.
Okay. An inch and a half to 2 inches below the drainage holes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And that should keep you in the clear.
And you said whenever you do that, you do add more like water from your house because it's chlorinated. Then we need to put one more cap full
Yeah.
of the. Go ahead.
Typically, what we really want to do is push the limits and let rain kind of do the most of the job for us. That's nature's water change. However, if nature isn't working on our side, we'll have to get water from the house. Now, water from the house is chlorinated, as you said. And I always like to explain that because you can tell somebody what to do, but if they don't understand why they're doing it, it doesn't really help them.
Okay.
So the water treatment companies put chlorine, which is basically bleach, into the water so that we don't ingest chemicals, we don't ingest bad bacteria or any type of bacteria. It will kill anything living organisms that's in the water. Now, however, this pond is an ecosystem. There are so many living organisms in this pond, including the fish, the plants, the bacteria, and all the little micro insects and bugs that are in here. So you cannot just take your tap water and dump it in here. It's like dumping bleach into your aquarium or pond.
Yeah.
So you have to get Prime, which is a dechlorinator. Now, also you would know that a lot of the fish keepers, the older fish keepers, will know and remember about sitting a bucket outside overnight and then the water being fine again. That's because the water only had chlorine in it for a while. And then a little bit later they started adding chloramines to the water. Now, chlorine will evaporate over time. Chloramine will not. So you can no longer just sit your bucket outside and make it safe for your aquarium. You have to add a dechlorinator. And the one I like to use is Prime. Just add a cap full of Prime. A cap full of Prime probably does about 50 gallons, and this is a 40-gallon setup right here. So I always like to over dechlorinate, especially in the summer. In the summer, they tend to put a lot more chlorine and chloramines into the water. There's a lot of more algal blooms and things like that that can happen in water, so they have to add more chlorine. And we'll just do that every time the pond gets really low.
I see a fish, y'all.
Oh, is a fish out?
It's in the middle one. Look at him. You see him? He's right there. He's under the Anacharis in that plant right there. I just saw him. Let's see if we can get him to show himself. I just saw him.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Here's one of our Variotis platies.
Y'all see him?
See him sitting in the plant there. There's actually two different types of Variotis platies in here. The first one, I'm not sure what the common name is for it. But they're blue, they're black, and they got some red on them. The body's blue, and then the tail fades from a red and black. And then there's also some black Variotises in here, and the body's mostly black, and then the head is yellow, and the body is yellow a little bit, but most of the body is black. So there's those two different species or color varieties of the Variotis platy in here. And of course they can intermingle and crossbreed and create a lot of different fancy colors in here. I also forgot to mention that the Variotis platy is also a live bear. So over the course of a couple months here, we'll start to see little baby fry pop up.
Cool.
And the reason why we went with the Variotis platy and this 40-gallon, most people would assume they could do like a goldfish or something like that in here. This is not enough space for a goldfish. So the way we like to operate here is big bodies of water, very small fish.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, and he showed me how to do these plants, y'all, because it was a process.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're gonna say that for the next video. But ain't they cute? Mm-hmm. You see my little tropical looking teal color gravel in there with my Anacharis plants and my Variotis platy. Look, I'm learning all this stuff, y'all. I like learning.
And in the next video, I should say we'll explain kind of what we did with these pots here, because it's not just blue teal gravel in this pot, because that might not be enough to keep these plants going, but I'm sure it would have been anyway. But we did a little bit something extra just to ensure that they grow very nicely, because we want this to kind of cover this section of the pond here.
Yes, yes. And obviously the fish love it. He is chilling, living his best life. Look at him, y'all. He likes it. Go fishy. Okay, he heard me. See that? Okay. All right, big nephew. Any other tips? What about the plants that I'm growing on the outside of it? If I want to grow taller plants to help shade it more.
Yeah. So we're looking for certain plants. We're gonna experiment with this a little bit too, because there's a couple plants that I know will definitely do well. But we're also gonna check out a local pond center.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure around what time they actually start opening up the pond section as far as like pond plants and things like that, because it's seasonal. It's still in April. I'm not sure if April is the beginning of pond season. It's definitely gonna be open by May. But I'm not sure when that's gonna be open, but we'll double check on that. But peace lilies, that's probably gonna be the #1 plant we're gonna try to get in here. Now with the peace lilies, we're definitely gonna have to do the same thing over here. We're gonna have to pot them up.
Okay.
Because they're just massive. They're not gonna be able to just go in the gravel in here. And then we're gonna experiment with a couple other different type of pond plants and see how well they'll do in here. Well, they'll definitely do well since they're pond plants themselves, but we'll try to find some that don't get absolutely massive. I definitely want to add some taro plants to here. Okay. If you don't know what a taro plant is, she'll put a picture of it on the screen.
I will.
But that's a very beautiful plant, and I love to get some in here.
Right. And on the outside, what I've tried to do, because I'm trying to, like he told me, taller plants to help shade it, you know, so I tried these palms. They haven't gotten very tall. Hopefully they'll get tall over time. They look like they've gotten a teeny bit taller. I have some lilies in the front. Some Asiatic lilies and some day lilies. They'll probably get taller and give a little bit more shade as well. So I'm going to be working on that too to see what kind of other plants I can put around the pond to help shade it.
Definitely.
All right. So this was a great video, Big Nephew. A lot of information. And y'all, if y'all have questions, y'all let me know. You know, you can email me at giftsbyangel@gmail.com. That's my email. It's in the description. And any questions you have for Big Nephew, I will forward them to him. Because look, we're going to try to do this all the time.
Oh, yes. And this is only episode 1 of this pond series.
Episode 1.
There's still a lot more work we have to get done. So drop your questions below, and hopefully we'll get them answered for you in the next episode.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Big Nephew.
Not a
Again, Big Nephew, aka Fulariums. Hello. And we will have all the description information for him, how you can contact him, in the description below. Thanks again, Big Nephew. All right, y'all. This is Big Nephew. Can you see yourself? Because it's
Yes.
sunny. Okay, this is Big Nephew.
AKA Fulariums on Instagram.
All righty. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Not a problem.
Thank you, y'all. Y'all want your ponds? You can have a pond. They're not extremely difficult to do. He helped me do this in one day. Okay.
How long did it take?
I think it took what? 20 minutes?
20 minutes?
20 minutes, if
If
that.
that.
He was like on lunch break, but don't tell nobody, okay? But anyway, look, it didn't take long at all. And it is beautiful. It's clear. I will show you some of the pictures of how we were doing it. I did take a few pictures in the beginning, but it's beautiful. It's clear. You can see through it. Everything. He did this, okay? And he helped me do this, and he taught me how to maintain it. And we're going to make sure that y'all know how to do it too, okay? All right. Thank y'all for watching Angel Loves Garden. Y'all.
Like, subscribe, comment.
You heard him. Don't mess with Big Nephew. You heard him. Thank y'all. Stay blessed.